care about what people think or what people say about you. You know, like the internet is a non-forgiving place sometimes, but if you are strong-willed and you can do it, it's almost like you living the way how you used to live, and now you're talking to city officials and city governments. It's like,
Yeah.
didn't you have to build the strength to want to like talk to these people because you're not from the same walks of life? Do you have like the thought of could they relate to me even? You know what I mean? Like, how do you
See, like,
walk into a door talking to like the city of Toronto, like you told me?
see, now it's just like before, think about this. If you were to go to a job interview,
Mhm.
you would want to go and be as perfect as you can. But in this rare occasion, it's like this is the city. You can't lie or front to them. So it's basically they know who I am and I could actually be myself this time, you
Mhm.
know, and my lived experiences, the highs and the lows count now, you know, whereas in like in the other world where you're thinking like I have to be all proper to go talk to them or whatever. In this case, I could be, you know, of a broken dreams and I could be of like poverty or like whatever from the gutter or from the system. I could have that lived experience and then they value that because now I'm in the community grassroots. We're in the community like grassroots, like outside, like with the people. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So at the end of the day, they can't relate to the people. They're the city officials. They have the resources and they have the power to like, you know, unlock certain funds here, funds there, or, you know, create this, give you access to the spaces that are available. They can do that like this with an email, you know. But for me, now it's like I have a voice, you know, I could
Mhm.
be the voice of the community to voice what we got to say because there's a lack of bare things.
Mhm.
So it's like, how are they supposed to know?
Mhm.
We're not on their radar like that, you know, because like they serve the community, they have funds that serve this community, but because, you know, there's bigger hoods that need it, but they have structure, but we don't have the structure, but they don't know that, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the voice.
And they don't know that because they're not walking the block, or they're not living in their day to day to know the
Yeah.
issues, right?
It's just like you would think everything's blessed because, you know, Toronto community housing, they have like community centers, they have staff. We don't have staff. We don't get paid to do stuff in the community. We just do it from the love of our heart and just cuz like that's our community, you know? So we care about our community. So we actually do what we have to do with or without a space. Like we give out groceries to elderly people all winter long and everything.
Mm.
You know, they line up outside in the freezing cold, old elderly people,
Wow.
you know? So
Yeah.
it's like with or without a space, we're still gonna do what we have to do, you know? But it would be nice if we could get some support, you know, some grant money or some anything. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true. I mean, so then what? How do you feel about this statement? Then, when you get rich or you get money, you should leave the hood or leave the
Mm.
community you come from. Like, I don't feel like that statement necessarily applies to you. Why
It
not?
does apply to me because be everybody that is in my life and in my era would tell me, you know, like, yo, just worry about yourself, yo. Like, you know, why are you worrying about the community, spending your own money, putting the money on your credit card for the community for, you know, because the community could be savage sometimes. People could come to the community, start teething things, and like, you know, like while you're trying to do something good, there's always some people that could like not appreciate what you're doing, but at the same time, like, you know, fuck, you know what I mean? We're
Hmm.
the ones doing it. We're the
Hmm.
ones doing it, like working on it, like, you know.
I want to go back. Let's talk
Mm,
about the early beginnings of a young Germs. You know, like videos
yeah,
like what's playing behind you. Like, you know,
yeah.
like let me know how life was like during that time.
So yeah, young germs. So like around these times with this video, like yeah, I was saying major music and stuff. Like they're shooting my videos for the low because I was doing beer videos. Like shout out to them. And that was before I was even like recording there. I was getting the videos and stuff. And then pretty much like, yeah, man. This is like one of my videos, Homicide. that like, it got bare views like in like a 1-2 weeks. It was like 6K views or something. And we're like, holy, those are organic views. So, but also it was also hot. Like I was being hot, you know what I mean? Like shortly after that, that's when I got kind of twined up and shit, But say like before, like, what I always want to, like, if I was on an interview, I always want to talk about the young days, like when I first fell in love with hip hop. And basically, like, I just remember, like, old school, like, Boys in the Hood type, like, real, like, Tupac, Mob Deep, like, and, like, I used to be influenced by my cousins and, so you guys probably heard of Robbie Khan.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Big,
So
big man in the
yeah.
industry. Does a lot
So
of big
he's been
things.
doing his music thing since the Smugglers, them
Oh,
time
wow.
eras, same era,
Yeah.
So like if you think about it, like they probably don't get recognition like they should. Like when everyone does these documentaries, they should mention Robbie too, because he's been making videos and stuff, and he's still making videos. So that longevity, that says something right there, like because a lot of people have haters along the way and probably you don't hear from that person no more. So for someone to have longevity, I rate that. But yeah, basically I was listening to that, like, Wu Tang, and then I found myself like every rap group, there's always like that secondary artist. So say like Wu Tang, I was a big fan of Killer Army. That's like their little side clique, And like say like the Locks, I love like Styles P, Jadakiss, but then I was fucking with Chic Luch, And then that's where like most of my style came from back in the days.
No, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, like I came from the era of rap battles, you know what I mean? So you have to actually go up to somebody live and spit, go to a man's block and battle him, And then I was just sick at battling. And then I came up with my boy Dio, rest in peace Dio, Young Skull. And then there's a big DJ right now, DJ Skits. But yeah, that was my homie. And we'll go to his crib and he'll play the records, you know what I mean? So he has the records that play the instrumental.
The singles.
You know what I mean? So
Wow.
the first beat that I heard was like Dead Wrong.
Ooh.
So when I heard Dead Wrong, and I used to play the drums, I was a drummer. So
wow.
That whole snare click like that, you know what I mean? Dead Wrong, and then Burn Mob Deep, and then also Will Always Love Big Papa. So, I know DJ Skits, he doesn't know how influential that day was, but after that day, like, because I was always like writing little rhymes, because like when I came up, I didn't have cable. So I didn't watch like, BET and all that unless I was at my family's house or at the barbershop or something, So it's just like, our first little wave, like, we're hearing stuff on the radio, Soul Controllers, 935, Baby You, like, all these sick ass DJs, you know what I mean? And then basically, like, we start falling in love in hip hop. And, I started like we're listening to Cash Money and stuff like that. And back then, nobody wanted to be Weezy. Man wanted to be Turk or BG or, Juvie, but nobody wanted to be Weezy. So I was Weezy back then because I was just like,
Yeah.
And basically, I just seen Weezy grow up, and started like killing the game. And that, like, I stuck with that too, So, even like Papoose, you know what I mean? And then you ever heard of Mixtape Maniac?
Maybe. Sounds very familiar.
It was like a store like around St. Clair and Old Weston Road.
So no.
They had a flea market because I'm from the West End. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mixtape Maniac was like a hip hop store where they sold gear, kind of like Rock the House back in the days.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, like they used to sell DVDs and Smack DVDs, Come Up DVDs. Oh, you know what I mean? So I'm buying DVDs and King of the City. All those Toronto DVDs, So, yeah, man, like I was a young spitter and I was about the bars and I came up different, like I came up like from an ends that's beside beer ends. In the West End, it's like the ends are close by. I can name like 10 ends close to my ends, So it's just like, yeah, man, it's just like real raw, authentic. And, with the shift of music, I just adapted with it too, Yeah, man.
so many questions because now I have so much like follow-up questions. Okay, my first follow-up would be your musical history. Like, how much do you know, given that your cousin's in music, you're in music, your brother's in music? Like,
Yeah.
do you have like other family attached to music as well? Maybe your parents, your grandparents, like, or did it start from you guys?
Honestly, like it must have started in the church. Like, my parents are in the church. My dad's a pastor,
Okay.
so it's like we're listening to music. We went to a prayer palace. So if you know on the Jane, like, it's like a big church out there. And I have a lot of family in Jane and Finch, and Rexdale, like so West End, So it's like we're not biased at this block, that block, because we have family on every block. You know what I'm saying? We
Exactly.
have family on this block and the hot block. So it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like different. We have a huge family. But yeah, we're listening to gospel. And like I said, we didn't have cable. So at first, I wasn't really exposed to it much, but I used to go to New York a lot.
Okay.
Like every year, every couple months, we're going back and forth to New York. And like I remember they used to sell bootleg CDs and stuff, So I'm like a poet basically back then, like rhymes was my expression, you know what I mean? So when it came to writing rhymes, even we had a tape deck, and when Flow's playing, because like I'm saying, my parents are Christian, so like, I'm Guyanese, but that Guyanese culture, I didn't really raise up in it because my parents were kind of trying to make me like Canadian, like a Canadian born youth. Like they didn't want to see me like turn out like, like because my parents, their whole family was Hindu, and my dad first converted to Christian, So my dad's the first Christian in our family. So he was just kind of like, I don't want you listening to that Indian music and whatever. So I came up a little different, than your average like Guyanese, I would say, where I was more exposed to like the hip hop or the reggae vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatever is playing outside, because I live on a block where people play music all day long. So whatever they're playing on this balcony versus that balcony, you know what I mean? It's like that. So, you know what I mean? I started making music because like I fell in love with playing the drums. And when it comes to hip hop beats, back in the days, the real hip hop, it was like just drums, you know what I'm saying? When you hear that, you know what I mean? So I'm a real hip hopper from way back then. It's just like, my bro seen me doing music and he got influenced. And like I said, I heard Robbie Khan, but I didn't know who he was because like back then, I go sleep over at my cousins. They're from, they're from a block, right? Brand name block. So when I go to their house to sleep over, I want to chill with my cousins every weekend. But sometimes they're busy chilling with their friends. So they just cut. We're like, yo. So now we're in the house and their things are left there. We see a tape, Young Offenders. We press play. And basically, it's just like the hardest shit you ever heard in your life. You know what I'm saying? That's when I say these guys are real lyricists, So we used to have like the phone, how it has an audio recorder. And we just like listen to that, Even in the tape deck that we had at home is like when Flo's playing something, you just hit record and play at the same time.
Yeah.
And then boom, it tapes over the tape.
Yeah, I know.
So we're mixing tapes,
Yeah. Yeah. Real mixtape.
Yeah. So that's the era that I came up in, you know what I'm saying? So the love for hip hop was like, it was real authentic. It's like I studied it. I became like a hip hop historian. So they had a site called Ola.com. You ever heard of that?
Maybe. Ola? Maybe.
Yeah.
Is it A? It's OLLHA.
It's like it's OLHHA. Yeah, like it's like
OLHHA, like where you get the hip hop knowledge and
the
shit.
lyrics.
Yes. Yeah. That was Genius
Back in
before
the
Genius.
days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Holy crow,
Yeah.
don't bring me back, dog.
I'm telling you,
oh
fam.
my gosh.
Real hip hoppers know Ola.com.
Wow, I do know that site.
You go there and see the lyrics, and I used to study lyrics, fam, and that's how I became such a sick writer, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So Ola.com, I know that brought back some memories, you know?
It did.
And then like I was saying, Mixtape Maniac in these places with like the CDs at the flea market. I have a binder with mixtapes on mixtapes so you can keep flipping. Jeez. And I have a lot of Toronto rappers because I was supporting Toronto music. Like, I'm not a hater. Like, I love my city. I'm Toronto man, seeing to the fullest. Like, you know what I mean? So I have bare Toronto tattoos. Like, yeah, I rep Toronto heavy. So like, I support Toronto music. You know, I was even going to like local open mics and stuff, trying to support, you know, whenever anyone's like rapping. You ever heard of Rock the Mic in
Yes.
Scarborough?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be at every Rock the Mic, fam, you know?
Wow.
They even came up here one time, like
way.
around this location, for a one time. But it used to be at like Kennedy and Ellesmere Progress right there, Lions Den, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So real heads will know, like, you know, Rock the Mic. And then it evolved over time, bare little shows, you know?
Yeah.
So I was a part of like, you know, a lot of these little open mic shows. So, you know, back in the days I was rapping just as like Germz, but it was called like Germz the Grim Reaper. You know, so that was the term, like, you know, and I was like a dark youth and going down like a dark path, you know? And then after I started like rapping with the group DAP, you know, so you probably know DAP and stuff, you know? So I was rapping with DAP, and then after, then things got a little crazy, so then I just started sticking to my block, and then we started something called Black Gang, you know? So that's the whole major music, all those videos.
Yeah.
It's during the Black Gang era, you know?
Okay.
And then that was like my most popping video, Homicide. And then around that time, then I was hot, and then I went through a little something, you know? So I had to go on the low and take all the videos down.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
I got that message.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get to that message, but let's stay to our past for a little bit.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
pretty much were raised just like me. I'm an 84 baby. So you're probably born around 80.
I'm 89 still.
You're 89?
I'm
Okay, so
89.
you're
I'm the
still
last of the dying breed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. You know, you were the burning CD eras. You were, you were a part of that. 100%, because my little brother is 89 too. He's a part of that. He still has the CDs to this day. You know the freaking thing, and it's like this big. Like,
yeah.
He got them. So
but
like,
now they don't work, so that's the messed up part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now my car doesn't even have a CD player, so I'm like, damn.
It sucks.
You know?
But
worse, even that Piff. I have beef with that Piff, eh?
They just shut
Cause
down.
like I had like beer mixtapes on there, and my music just all gone. I'm like, holy.
Fam, imagine how I feel. How many fucking tapes I hosted that I didn't take down. Like I took down a bulk of them, but even still, like. But anyways, you're talking about people that don't get recognized enough. You did mention Robbie Khan coming up in the Smugglers era. Who else, in your opinion, doesn't get the recognition that they deserve? Building this Toronto hip hop community, this Toronto hip hop scene?
Oh man, like, you know, it's just like first of all, Toronto's the type of city where it's like, if you name a name, then man's you feel fuck with those, you know, you feel those.
They say glizzy gobbling or something.
It's just crazy, but I'm just saying, like, if we're talking legendary wise, you know, the whole come up to, like, you know, like, who doesn't get the recognition? I would say, like, there's a lot of rappers, 100 rappers, like, in the scene, like, you know? Like, for example, like, when I was coming up, I was listening to, like, M. Sheezy, Deuce Hoodie, and K Sizzle, those guys.
K Sizzle, yo fam, K Sizzle's probably one of the best rappers I heard, and he makes his own beats.
Their beats
he was
are
like
crazy.
the first artist I knew that like was like me, who made our own beats, who shot his own video. No, shot by Dolo, shot his videos, but still, like, I know he played an important role in that. And like, yo, K Sizzle was a guy I looked up to, and I'm not even gonna front, bro. He was so dope.
Chelsea. And like, yo, even like, you know, back in the days, like TNT and those guys are legendary.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And also, like, you know, there's even real people like OT Trap, you know, 4 or 5. You know 4 or 5.
Yeah, I just started following him. Jules.
Yeah.
I just interviewed his brother. You saw
Yeah.
that, right? So yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, he could basically, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could play the beat, like, and rap at the same time.
Very talented.
You know what I'm saying? Very talented, most slept on, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so definitely. But yeah, like, even like me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been underrated because like I'll be honest, like let's talk about it. Like, like I get a lot of hate too because I'm brown, fam. You know what I mean? And
You think it's a racial thing?
I do think because like at the end of the day, like not always. It's also consistency on my part, and I could put in way more work. If I really wanted like rap to be my priority, then you would tell. That would not even be. Right now I'm being interviewed just because based off the status, the legendary status. I've been doing this shit from time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's not like I have some crazy ass motion. You're like, yo, we got to interview Germz now.
Yeah.
It's just like literally off the strength, off the love, like, because that's who I am in the city. Everyone has a role to play. And me, I'm just like, my role is just like, I do my thing, I stay in my lane, been a man of my word, been stand up, like, legendary shit. Like, I'm one of these guys that, like, lead the way and, like, it's a good example for you guys to follow, like, you know what I'm saying? So basically, I've been doing my thing on the rap thing, but also it's an influence. So, I got knocked, I went down, my whole life turned upside down. So when I touched road, I had the influence. I couldn't influence however I wanted to. I could have took this rap shit and influence a way where it's like, yeah, we can make it, but then it also hots up everybody and this and that, So it's like a real life reality. Sometimes it's like, music, you can get millions of dollars. So it's like you can make that one hit go boom, worldwide market, you know what I mean? So it's like I believe in, when people is doing these antics, shenanigans, whatever, like it could help certain people, but like for me, back to what I was saying, was like because like when people they see me, they don't even like take me in. They just see that my appearance and they're like, oh, who's this brown dude? Or like, people say, oh, this guy's from Brampton or Tay Tay, you know what I'm saying?
God, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's all good, like, but if you really know, like, so even back in the days, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, all my stuff is the sickest, like, I was, at one point, I was, like, on that real bad boy time, you know what I mean? So even my own brethrens, they weren't even telling me if it's good or not, because they're just like, they're looking at me like, yo, this guy's a guy, so they're just like, yeah, it's sick. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, it's sick, it's tough.
Yeah.
But, nobody's like trying to really hurt your feelings and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? But
would you have taken offense though if they were like, nah, you got to do it again and shit like that? Like,
honestly,
at that
like,
point of your life, thinking about it, like, would you have really taken offense though?
when it comes to music, like, I feel like music is like this. Like, you say, like, you have a canvas, a blank canvas,
Yeah.
and you give me and you the same canvas, and you give us different colors, mine is going to look different from yours, right?
That's fact.
So I like to make music, like, without the opinion of others, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
this is my canvas, and I'm doing some splash painting, and this is how my things ended up looking, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just how I feel, like, So I don't listen to people's opinion, and I make music at my own pace, and I do what I want at my own timing, like,
So then they probably knew you, right? So they know, you know what? That's just his thing. We'll just say, yeah.
Yeah.
know what I
No,
mean?
my brethren, they're like, yo, be honest, like, and this is a conversation, right? So some people, fam, they support the thing, but they don't support the thing. Like, be honest. Like, the other day, like, some mans will laugh at you. Some mans will ask a man, yo, can you hold the camera? Let me just do a thing. Man's like, yo, it's cold outside, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like people don't really believe in the vision, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's good to have a team around you. And there's times where I can't even say that because there's times where I have the fullest support of everybody, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's times where I had heights in my career where like, yo, everybody's on board. And I appreciate all the love and all the support, Because, yeah, man, like, there's highs and lows, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Has there ever been a situation where you're like, now I know it's because I'm brown? Like, when it comes to, like, navigating your career in the music scene, like...
Like, honestly, sometimes it helps me, and sometimes it makes us get a little hated on. Like, for example, like, going back to, like, my fam, Robbie Khan,
Yeah.
It's like, how come nobody ever shouted him out in the interviews, but he has videos from way back then? It's like, what makes them not put him in the category of the timeline, when people are talking about, like, the history of that name brand area, you know? So it's like
That's true.
sometimes you wonder, it's like because people try to like look at us like we're not this or we're not that, or like, you know, say, oh, I'm brown, I'm not black. But if you think about this, like, so I'm brown, I look kind of Indian, right? But to the Indian people,
You
they,
look brown.
they
like
think I'm black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To the
Yeah.
white people, they think I'm black. You know, when I'm applying for all these grants with the city of Toronto, they consider me as black.
Wow.
You know, when you go to my family parties, the people there are black. You know what I'm saying? So, and I grew up in an all black neighborhood. You know, I'm from the West End, you know, I'm from close by Little Jamaica, everything. You know, so I'm not trying to insinuate like, yo, I'm forced to think like, yo, I'm black, yo. But I'm just trying to show you my perspective, like how the police deal with me, you know, how I get dealt with in society. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
I deal with all that struggles. You know what I'm saying?
All right. We're going to have to talk about the negatives of the career. So you're dropping your music. It's consistent. I know you've been working with Major Music and Max. Shout out to Max.
Yeah, man.
Max
Shout out
is my
Major
family.
Music. Shout out the
Yeah.
engineers. Like,
Yeah, shout out to
you know what I'm saying?
Marcus.
LG,
Yeah,
LC,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
JY.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Those are my guys.
You get in trouble. Now, I don't know if you want to deep dive. You get in trouble, and I get the request, hey, can you please private the videos? I swear it was even your brother that told me that, actually. It's crazy. Hey, can you private the videos? What, and I don't want to ask you what happened, but
Yeah.
without giving too many insider details,
Yeah, for sure.
I guess I am asking, what was the situation that had to lead to the taking down of the videos? Because I feel like video is art, and you can't base anybody based off of their art. But I know motherfuckers get twined for the things they say at the same time. So,
Yeah.
what was the decision that led to having Major Music take down the videos?
Yeah, so pretty much it's just like, you know, just life be life in and life stuff. So, you know, it's just the boy them are just trying to use a video in a trial, right? In a case, right? So, you know, the video could just boost the thing, like the case that they're trying to make. But for no reason though, it's a reach that they're trying to make, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, why give them legs, you know? Like, just private up the videos and like, yo, run up, like, you know?
Yeah.
Because basically they're trying to, you know, they're coming for me, but they want to twine up my bro in the process. You know, my bro has nothing to do with nothing, you know what I mean? So it's like, but because we have a video featuring each other, they're going to say, oh, look at these guys, Ray-Tay-Tay, but my bro's a good you. Like, if you know my bro, he's onto bigger and better things. Like, he's doing his music, you know, he has a family, all that stuff, you know. His genre of music is a huge audience. He's doing soca, dancehall, you know, hip-hop, R&B, you know. So my bro's in a different lane getting bare love. So it's like me, I was kind of doing my thing, and if they're coming for me for something, then that's on me, you know what I mean? So I was just like, yo, leave my bro out of this and take the videos down. And, you know, I had to go do some time and everything, and, you know, and it's all good. Like, it's a blessing in disguise because I just came out, you know, better, smarter, you know, and now life is like, it's a lot more precious, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could even show you, like, you see how this video is running, like the last one?
Yeah.
I'll show you the video from when I touched road, and like now you can see like the improvement, you know what I mean? Like you see I have the video with my bro, they're trying to use that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That was just playing a while ago.
Yeah. This one right here.
Okay.
So you see it? Now I'm stepping my shit up now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had time to work on my music and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you know?
So this track is more recent then?
Yeah. This one was like when I touched road. So this is like I touched road and I was on a bracelet for a while. So I was like kind of, you know, but when I could finally move around, then I made this video. So
Nice.
yeah.
Was that the only stint, or did you have like other stints or wild stints? Or...
Nah, so pretty much like when it comes to the boy them and getting in trouble, like yo, like from I was in like grade 9, they've been trying to come for me for like weird dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, And when it comes to weed charges, got beer weed charges. Like I grew up in the era where they have Tavis, Tavis boy them, and they're just running up on you deep. Like, I went to school around Keele and Eglinton, so around there is like treacherous, and like the boy them used to just be out there 20 deep, run upon you every day getting searched, to the point where we master getting searched. We master getting searched, still have our shit on us. Like what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, we fucking hate the boy them growing up. I've been a victim of police brutality. No, badly. I got rushed by the boy them like in my basement of my building, like dragged to the staircase so they can rush me more.
This is before body cams and all that shit.
Yeah,
Obviously,
this is
right?
before body cams. This is when the boy them used to say, yo, where's your ID, whatever, racial profiling, all that was like, come like that was legal back then, you know what I mean? So it's like, back then, I experienced so much police brutality. My brethrens, like, one time, my brethren see me get beat up by the boy them in the cruiser. I'm handcuffed, and they're just in the cruiser, you know what I mean? And what could he do? You could try to dodge it, but like, I went to one door, the man opened the next door, boom, you know what I'm saying? I tried to get away, and then they just had the fat cops blocking the window so no one could pre what's going on,
Yeah,
I've been, I could say like, yo, not even man them touch me. Like no man ever touched me like that. Only the boy them ever fucking violated, you know what I'm saying? And that's why like it comes with like a certain hatred for them.
Yeah.
I get triggered, like when you see shit on Instagram and shit with the boy them, like I get triggered, fam. Like, I'm just like not all there in my head because of that shit, you know what I'm saying? Real shit.
So have you ever thought to take legal action? At least?
Like not really, because at this time too, when I was younger, maybe now, like, when I was younger, I don't want no involvement with them. Like,
Yeah.
if you go report them, what do you think they're gonna do to you? Like,
You'll be on the target forever.
Yeah.
Just based on the stories, your hip hop journey was fucking brutal. You decided to switch gears and do more Caribbean music.
Yeah.
Why the change?
Okay, so first I wouldn't say it was that brutal. Like I was getting beer love still,
In terms of like police and...
Yeah, like in that sense, like
Yeah,
it was blessed.
more of
Like the
that.
love was blessed because like organically, I used to know promo. Like I'll get views on my videos, and shout out Toronto rappers and all these blog sites that used to post me for free. Like I really appreciate that shit. Like that. That's how like I'm one of those ones. So like, but I started switching it up because now when I touch road and this type of topics that we want to talk about, like we live in Canada, it's just hard to operate. Like you just want to live good. And plus, you ever went to a Soca Fest?
Of course, I love Soca Fest.
Yeah, what's your background, yo?
Trini Grenadian.
Okay, so then if all people must know, you know what I'm saying? So like the vibes is different,
It's
I know
low.
some people, they probably don't like Soca Fets and stuff. They're just like too hood, but if you like love gyal and stuff like that, then
Yeah.
trust you, I'm telling you, you go there, get a bubble, it change your mind, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry to cut you, but like, yeah, like the Soca Fest and Latin parties were my two favorite parties to go to. Like,
Facts.
and I never experienced any black nightclub as lit as those clubs still. Not gonna lie to you, dog.
Well, actually, I've been to enough. Toronto actually is popping, like the nightlife. Like real talk, like like even back in the days, I used to be up in Government, Fluid, you know what I mean? We used to be in Metro, all that stuff, you know what I mean? Tonic, you know what I mean? And shout out guys like MC Crazy Chris and these guys that hold it down for Toronto, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like they make the city lit, Barcode, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Yeah, I've been going to clubs since I was 14. You know what I'm saying? Like
No
the
idea.
bouncers know us. They see our faces. Nobody else could wear their hats. We're wearing our hats. No one else could smoke. We're smoking. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like legendary shit,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like now when I was younger, why I was on the downtown scene was because my culture never really showed me love as a youngin'. I'll be honest with you. Like, because I was a different type of Guyanese, like they didn't receive me as well. So when I was younger, they never received me well. Now that I'm older, now they receive me well. See? So now I'm like, okay, now that they're showing me love and appreciation, I'm gonna try to make this music and take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, we had a little wave. I made the track with my boy, Bonita, and then we had another track, Lyman, and linked up with AZ, Caribbean Link Up TV and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
Shout
what I
out to
mean?
him. I gotta talk to him, but yeah, shout
Yeah,
out
I
to
was
him.
I was gonna bring him, but I had
He
to.
should have. I would have loved
Yeah,
to talk to him, man. What he's
we
doing
we
for the
should bring the
Caribbean,
whole cipher through. You know what I mean?
be less. I need. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be
fam.
blessed. Yeah,
Because everyone needs to speak for themselves.
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, man. So pretty much, I started doing shows, and we started getting booked for shows. So we got booked to open up for Charlie Black. Just because we're like popping on the internet right now, going viral. People see the gal them in the videos. They're like, okay. You know what I mean? So we had a little motion. I was getting booked for shows like every week, fam. DJ Snoopy, all these shows. So it was lit. I have like a certain way of like just wilding out when I'm performing. Like I'm very reserved in person, but when I'm on stage, I'm like wilding out, interacting with the crowd, doing what I have to do. Bucks be balling and stuff was there. All these guys are there. So yeah, it was a good run. You know what I'm saying? And then right now I'm just working with Smoke Shop.
Yes.
So Smoke Shop, he's doing like working with legendary artists, Charlie Black, Alkaline, and he does dancehall specifically, right?
Yeah.
So he specializes, he's a hip hopper, like he came from our era. So, he'd been recording every Toronto rapper like from way back when, you know what I mean? But like right now, he's helping me perfect my craft in the dancehall thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to appeal more to, the audience that I have, because to keep it real, my type of rap is the old school type of rap, is the Chic Luch, Styles P, like Chic Luch, he's like, yo, saying fuck me, and it's fuck you too. Your father, your mother, the whole you came through. Niggas don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, come on, man. Like when you hear lyrics like what Chic Luch is talking about, and like that's how we rap, like battle rap.
Yeah.
Like, I'll show up to your house, I'll do this, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now I can't rap like that because then my lawyer's gonna be like, yo, you're an idiot. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like, dry eyes. Everything's just dry eyes. You're just dry eyes on yourself, right? But life is so real that it's like sometimes this is still our lived experience, which is like somebody may not understand my lived experience, but my reality is going to funerals. My reality is my best friend's dead, to gun violence, so that's my reality. So when everyone wants to know why am I doing things to get in trouble, why am I trying to protect myself, whatever, to get myself twined up, but it's like, yo, we live in a city where it's real. Our city is super real. When everybody's acting like it's all a joke and whatever, you must live in a different city than me. This is the real Toronto. You guys probably live in the oblivious Toronto, you know what I'm saying? But it's all blended together. But, the one that I know is very, very, very serious, very real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that, and maybe it's a weird way to say it, but your experiences doing more Caribbean music is better than doing more hip hop music?
I feel like people want to hear that hip hop from me, but the thing is, now when I'm doing the Caribbean music, I'm getting booked for a show. I go there, they're giving me a booth, giving me a bottle, giving me a shirt with my name on it. You know what I'm saying? It's just more love. There's so much promotion. It's just bare people like just showing love nowadays. Like back when I was a youth, everyone used to show me hate. But nowadays I'm just like a stand-up person. I'm a man of my word. I just do my thing. I don't trouble nobody, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm the type of guy that I know how it can end up. We don't play around. So things could end up very deadly. So just let us just go on chill, cool. Everybody's just you do you, we do me. Like, yo, we could all coexist. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is. But when people try to like see me and I'm a rapper now, they want to try to test my gangster. They like want to see, yo, is this guy really about that? And now you may be catching me in a phase of my life where I'm doing positive shit.
Yeah.
So it's like you're trying to catch me lacking, catch me off guard. But little do you know, if it was like, you know, the old me, you know, couldn't even do that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I think you have a point. Like, and I guess I understand why a lot of even our city, like our Toronto artists, are jumping into maybe more dancehall or Caribbean music. Like the doors are just way open. The windows of opportunity is wide. Like, you know,
Yeah.
artists that do get buzz out here, they have a ceiling. Like you stop from a, you might do a booking and the police are calling the venue. Oh, you got him over there, or you're be tied up to some sort of gang and the police has your file, or you might have done some dumb shit in your YO and it's following you to your adult. Like, I feel like it's just not the city to go that route without having variety in your music.
Yeah. Like for example, like, you know, certain rappers right now, they're doing like the little techno bop and whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, yo, you gotta try. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Where's the money at, right? When you go to Cabana, you see all those techno parties, you know? Or you go to Veld or whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it's same time as Caravana. You know, Caravana, like in our city, you have to captivate of what's gonna attract the, you know, the audience and stuff, you know? Like, so for me and my gunman lyrics and this, that, you know what I mean? It's not gonna fly, and it's not very very appealing, you know, very inviting, you know. It's more like closed off, yo, don't know, like, yo, you know, this is my perspective, and if you don't like it, yo, what? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like on the next side, I'm trying to tell y'all, yo, bend over, you know, it's 6:30, do this, do that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, that's lit, you know, and a lot of doors opened up. So you have to go what works for you, you know?
Exactly.
So I wanna always be remembered as a legendary like bar spitter coming from my track The Life of Mine, you know, and that's just what I'm saying. Like, even though you have to evolve. So for a 1-2 time I was on my drill, you know, doing drill, and like sometimes I'm doing trap music like Gucci Man and, you know, Pooh Shiesty and them, you know. And sometimes I'm on my little Dirk on The Voice singing, you know. Sometimes I'm doing R&B, you know. So I even switch up what I listen to because I'm trying to change my mind state, you know. So I listen to Mariah Carey, you know what I mean? And I'm just different, you know. I could be me. You can't peer pressure me. I don't need to prove nothing to nobody, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like a OG, been doing this from time. Toronto legend, like, you know? Still here.
Toronto
you know?
legend,
Yeah.
No, I feel you.
You know what I mean?
To the Guyanese freestyle, you're getting into your Caribbean bag, smoke shop, how y'all working. How did this freestyle come up? Because I heard it, I seen it. I'm like, okay, Nisa's in there, Germz is in there, okay, my people's in this, so I can back it. And you know, I heard it, I'm like, okay, this is actually nice. Like, how did this cipher even come about? Like, what was the idea behind it? Who started it? Like,
so,
what's the history about it?
Let me ask you a question. Did you share it?
Yes.
You did?
I think so.
Okay, respect.
100%.
Respect. Yeah.
Anything you're on or Anissa's on, I'm sharing. Because
Okay,
Anissa, we interviewed Anissa 2 years ago. I already know you, you're my family. Like, I'll share whatever y'all do. 100%.
Yeah, respect, fam. You know, it's like the way it started, it was like it all came from Robbie Khan still, you know, like it was his idea to do it from time. And the thing was, when he formulated a plan, he like basically he put bare post out like, yo, I'm thinking of doing a Guyanese Cypher, tap in, you know. So he been posting that for a while, and I'm just, you know, I'm tapped in with him. Super, that's family, you know. That's my dog, you know. So he's just like, yo, let's do this Guyanese Cypher or whatever. I'm like, yo, bet. So like that's why I'm like one of the first to jump on it, you know, because I was like, yo, let's do this. Like, you know, represent for Guyanese Canadians, you know, also that. And then another thing you have to ask yourself is like, we're the first to do it, you know? So it's like, that also speaks for itself too, where it's like, how come nobody else did it before? And how come nobody's like proud to rep being Guyanese? I know Gutsy's Guyanese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so like that's the thing, you know. So Robbie put it together. He got the smoke shop behind chopping up, engineering us and chopping up the beat and everything. And then my boy AZ jumped on it, Joeezy, AK, and then Robbie finished it off at the end. We're trying to get Anissa on it too, but she was taking forever to record her verse still, you know?
Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, you know?
Yeah.
But we're just, you know, we wanted to give everyone a chance. There's more people that were supposed to be on it. And it's like schedules didn't align. Because we also want to set a due date for the end of the year. Because we started the idea at the beginning of the year. So I know some people is like, oh, how come this person's not on it? That person's not on it. Seeing? But it's like, yo, man, I've been putting posts out, you know, tap in with the cipher. And at the end of the day, now it's out. If anyone's really serious, you could all do a part 2. You know, if they're serious. Because all now I didn't, the comments were going wild, like, oh, we should do an East Side version, this, that. But all now I still didn't see no one do it, you know? So that's what I'm saying. Things like this, it takes a while to orchestrate, but people just think like, oh, boom, Guyanese Cypher, oh, that's whack. Or like, or that's sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people are just so quick to like, why isn't this person on it? Why isn't that person on it, you know?
Yeah.
But just appreciate it for what it is, please. You know what I'm saying? Because it was well orchestrated. It was sick, you know, it was something never done before. So, you know, that's what I have to say there.
Going back to like after the video drops, like I know you said your phone was blowing up. What were those texts looking like? Were there texts of support in the DM? Were there messages of support under the comments? Do you like the hidden fact that people would hit you up on a DM but don't say nothing in the comments? Like, how did you feel about the feedback after the video dropped?
I think the feedback is positive still. Like, we're getting like organic. Like, you have to understand, we're thinking about promoting it and paying all the blogs and stuff, but we're like, yo, first, let's see like what we can get organic, fam. Like, yo, like, look what we're doing here for this, you know, for the sake, we're repping the city too.
Yeah.
So it's like the city needs to rep us back. Like, let's see what the love is. So we just put it out there with no like promotion or nothing. Cause we're just like, yo, listen, man, like, let's see if somebody out the love reposts us. Or let's see if like one of these blog pages says, oh, Toronto rappers from Canada, like representing Guyana, link up to do a cipher, you know? So yeah, that would have been blessed if somebody, I reached out to bare pages too, you know? So it's like, the bread's not the problem. We can pay the bread. But the thing is, like what I was saying is like, you know, if they would post the most viralist, dumbest shit, right? Somebody steps on literally shit and they're like, oh shit, they slip and fall. Post that, right? And then now the man then put in a little work, did a video, you know? And it's like people would rather just, you know, just be like, yeah, I seen that. Then like, you know, put it on her blog or whatever to say, yeah, you know, send us a change. You could be on her story, this, that. Which I don't mind paying too. Like, it's a business, right?
Yeah.
So like, you gotta pay to play. Certain mans don't have to pay. Certain mans have to pay. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I never really had to pay in the past, but you know, we don't mind paying in the future. It is what it is. But yeah, everyone tap in. Guyanese Cypher. You know, Smoke Shops sparked it. You know what I mean? He came with the little 1-2 bars, you know, and then the 1-2 Guyana lingo, you know? So yeah, man. So we're just trying to, you know, the track was a cipher, so it wasn't meant for everyone to talk Guyanese.
Right.
It was for us to still rep who you are, where you're from, and put it out there so the people in Guyana could all see and be like, look at these Canadian guys going off out here, like, because we are them. We're from here.
Yeah.
You know, and when the casting call goes out and nobody replies, like, hey, man, let's do a part 2 then. You know, let's go circle back, do a part 2. but it has to be under our brand. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I feel like a part 2 is necessary still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get gutsy on that part 2. I'm gonna write his bars or something. Like, yeah, we need some representation. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
or even like host it. Like, you see, the thing is, like, the unity.
Yeah.
That's another thing, because like usually Guyanese people don't get along with each other. Like, they're always just like getting drunk and fighting and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like the unity. I appreciated that. It's hard to get so much people at the same place at the same time. So, you know what I mean? Everyone has lives are busy. Like, we're trying to get to the bag, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciated like how everyone pulled together and all the support, organic support, all that. You know, some of the bars is going over people's heads, but it's all good, you know?
No doubt.
I can only speak on my lived experience. I can't go over there and tell you how to you know, dance Indian dances, bro. Like, I grew up a little different, fam, you know? So my story is gonna be like my bars where I'm talking about, yo, you know, a prophet prophesied somebody tried to kill me. I keep my 10 toes on the street, 10 fingers on the blicky. Always had a license to kill, but I was never leggy. Know what I mean? Finger itchy, you'll never prosper like weapons formed against me. Evidently, I'm in my bag, you sleep in cemeteries. I be talking to the dead be always talking to me. You think that you running shit till you get packed with Top Boy Sully. You know what I'm saying?
Who's Top Sully?
Top Boy?
Top Boy.
Sully.
Sully. Oh, Top Boy Sully.
So if
yeah,
you watch
yeah,
the movie
yeah.
Top Boy,
Oh, for sure, he got
at
packed.
the end, you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
He got packed. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
but you would have thought he was the baddest man, right? And even the most baddest man could get packed, fam. The most D's man, the most cloud up, anyone can get it, right?
That shocked me.
Yeah.
In the whip.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I was sad still because Sully
Yeah.
was such a guy that was like
Facts.
trying to not do the fuckery, and I felt like he was just forced to be in it. And his brethren always bring him into the fuckery.
Certified, you know? He's one of those certified guys you're like, nah, you know?
Yeah, it's like
Like,
not him.
Yeah, but anyone could get it, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, I just had to talk my truth on there and spit how I experienced my life. And, you know, the Guyanese community, like, shout out to them, you know, but y'all gotta receive me. I'm one of y'all, like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talked about unity, and you're a man right now in your life that's about unifying, especially your community. We're talking behind the scenes. You said a lot of it is coming out of pocket, lack of government funding, due to Village not even being recognized as one of the 13 blocks that are just fucked up, or they're not a housing
Priority
project, right? They're not they're not a priority needs neighborhood. Like, how has the journey for you been trying to even get your neighborhood looked at as a neighborhood that needs the help?
So pretty much like, yeah, so I come from Village, you know, and where that is, like the West End, it's just like in between some major hoods, right? So, you know, you have Jungle, very close by. You have Eglinton West, Vaughan and Oakwood, Marley, Neptune, you know. Then you have Keel, Gulliver, Lawrence, Black Creek, Keel and Eglinton, Clairview. I can keep going on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? There's beer ends.
And they're all government housing, or
like some are and some aren't. You know, like a majority are. So like when it comes to like the funding, like they kind of categorize us, but because like some other areas are Toronto housing, and ours is like North York community housing.
What's the difference?
It's like a different kind of, you know, supports that they have. So pretty much like the government though, they have certain sectors. So we fall under a certain area, a grid, like you could say.
Yeah.
And they have to service these communities. However, like say we're beside a major hood like Jungle, the money majority might go to them because we don't have much of a community set up. So we're building the community. We're the grassroots. So grassroots basically means like we're not registered or nothing. We're just community resident led, and we're just trying to advocate for our neighborhood because there's a lack of community, a lack of support, lack of funding, and basically all the community spaces are all abandoned rather than being used by the members of the community. So we used to have access to 1-2 spaces, But unfortunately, we had some new property management, and when the new management came into play, they kind of like they don't really care about the hood like that. They're more on like how could you increase the property value, you know? So they're trying to like do things like that, but then shootings occur, stuff like that, and then you know. But then where's the cities hitting me up like we can do trauma classes, we can do healing, mental health classes, and I'm just telling them that would be great, but like where are we gonna hold this because we don't have any access to any space. Like we're not like we don't have no community center. We don't have anything like, you know?
Yeah.
So with that, what are the youth gonna do growing up? They're gonna see the man them chilling on the side doing their thuggy and be like, well, I don't know no there wasn't no other opportunity. Like say if there was something, like back in the days, my bro, he had a community program called Dreamsville Academy before J. Cole had the Dreamsville, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like with the Dreamsville Academy, he got a bunch of youth together and he's like, yo, so what are you guys interested in? So one youth, he like DJing. So my bro bought him the DJ's turntable set, you know what I'm saying? And he became a big DJ. Shout out, rest in peace, DJ Papa.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
another guy said he likes making beats. My bro gave him the little tools to make the beats, the Pro Tools or the Fruity Loops, whatever, you know, and he became making beats for Money Man now. Windy City, Windy Got Hits. You know what I mean?
Wow,
He's on the
yeah.
Money Man album now, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So it just shows that when you plant a seed, like no homo, fire, pause, whatever, but like when you're like, you know, investing into
Yes.
the youth
Yes.
and their interest, then it could alternate their life. You know what I'm saying? Their trajectory of their life. You know what I'm saying? Because basically they could figure it out on their own. But if they had a little somebody that takes, you know, interest into what they're trying to say, like you have to listen to the youth. You have to listen to what they want. You know, if they're saying like, yo, we don't want that bad man thing, then you're like, all right, these youths, you know what I'm saying? You can't save them, you know? But if the youth wants to do something, yo, why not like, yo, spend the investment to invest into their interest? Because you never know. There's so many things that you could be. Like, for example, like, you know, when I grew up, everyone's telling me, yo, work or trade. Work or trade, work or trade, work or trade. You know, I work construction for a bit, whatever. But I'm not liking the environment. Man's yelling at me, rated I'm like, yo, are you crazy? Like,
Yeah,
who you
yeah.
talking to, dog? You know what I'm saying?
I
So
do.
it's like, now I'm just like, I switched lanes and I went to school for videography. You know, I went to Centennial's broadcasting program, you know, when I came out the bin. And basically, it just proves now that you don't have to follow just the trade route. You can be an entrepreneur and you can do whatever you want to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of people just put that in their head that that's all they can do, like work labor or go to a factory or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I'm a big man. I'm not going back to no agency. I'm not going to put no steel toe boots on. Like, fuck that shit. Like, you know, I'm trying to be my own boss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Like, you know, at some point in time, I'm applying for jobs and not getting through. I'm like, yo, fuck that. If I can't find work, I'm going to create my own work, you know? So I started my own business, you know? And like, I just like encourage youth out there, like, yo, you know, if the city could help us eliminate some of these barriers that we face with property management, because like every year I've been doing the Village 3-on-3 for 13 years, and I've been leading it for the last 5 years. And even how that all started was like my bro hit up the Toronto Raptors, the MLSC, because the conditions of the basketball court back in the days was just all broken beer bottles and broken rims, and that's how we used to play with that. We were cool with that back in the days. That's all we had, right? So at some point, my bro was like, "Nah, yo, like this ain't right." Like, you know, we sent an email to the MLSC, and the Toronto Raptors and the MLSC sent like a rep to do a physical survey of the neighborhood. And when they came through and they seen the conditions, they're like, "Yo, nah, this is crazy." So they funded over $100,000 to do a revitalization of the basketball court,
Amazing.
and they put a Toronto Raptors logo.
Amazing.
So they did a launch right there, and then every year ever since we've been doing basketball tournaments like out of our own pockets with our own money, you know. So
Wow.
it took like an unfortunate incident in my hood for the city to finally reach out to me and for us to finally get some funding. So it's crazy, but then now we got the ball rolling, and I'm in talks with the city like almost every day. Like I have little, Microsoft Teams meetings. We're just talking about how we could help the community, and how we could eliminate some of these barriers, because it's very demotivating as a community leader when you're trying to do something positive and people are trying to stop you, like a property management saying, nah, you can't do the ball tournament. And I still do it every year, with or without permission, because, man, a bad man, fam. Are you crazy? This is my block.
Yeah,
This is my court.
Yeah.
We made this shit.
Yeah.
This is our shit, our hood, our people. You think you're going to let you stop us? Like, fuck that. Like, we're like, I'm riding for my community. It's very tiring. It's very, like, draining, because I'm fighting an uphill battle facing all these barriers. Like, they're saying, what if somebody gets injured, or what if somebody does a drive-by shooting or something,
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Then the Toronto police, they want to come bring up their people to be involved in our shit. And I'm like, like, this is our, like, as much you can't stop it. Like, this is the world we live in. There's police, right?
Yes, for sure.
So if they're doing their little patrol thing, whatever they're doing, but don't be trying to invade the hood and, do all that slick shit. Like, we don't trust the boy them, because, like, they never earned our trust. You know what I'm saying? So they basically proved us wrong for how many years? So, like, until that trust is broken, it's forever broken, fam. So you can try to come to the hood and go on like you're doing something or whatever. They try to say, oh, we'll come on board with you. It's like, listen, bro, this is what we started. Don't be trying to get recognition off of something that we started, grassroots,
But I know you said, for you especially, that the bond is broken, and there was never a bond. It was more so of like the mistrust and the distrust started from very early, and it'll be very hard to mend that. So have you guys even just said, why don't you guys just show presence? Let's a couple cop cars, stay in your whips, just so that the neighborhood is safe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a
They
start.
tried to do that. They tried to like put like a 1-2 like officers that walk around and whatever. You know what I'm saying? And like, if that's what they're doing, like, fuck, I can't. Like, as much as I want to determine who enters and exits my hood, I would love to be like, you guys can't follow there, but they're gonna forward. It's just like, you can't take credit for our things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And they're gonna come through, take their pictures, we help the community, and then they leave. Well, we're there, we still live there.
Yeah.
So, that's just the difference. It's like, people like in the hood, half the people that even go there don't live there, It's just like Toronto hoods are like that. There's bare link ups. Like, people just link up, like, you're wondering if people have jobs. Like, shit, the block's just live on a Monday. You're like, yo,
Yeah.
It's just the hood, like, It's just that I love it for those reasons, But at the same time, it's like, what I mean? Like, the boy them, it's like with the city, when you're talking to the city, the boy them are there with the city though, So that's the thing.
Yeah, it's
you
like,
can't escape it.
It's hand in hand at that point.
That's why they know my history.
Yeah.
And I can be the community leader even with my background.
Yeah.
Because they rate my background for me changing
your life
and trying to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I could literally influence it the next way if I wanted to.
Yes.
I could have came out the bin on some, all right, guys, gang shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
But I was like, all right, guys, listen, stop the fuckery. You know what I mean?
It's not worth it.
And people would listen to me because I was really that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, when I see a lot of these guys, like, I'm going to say this straight up, a lot of these guys with the shiesty, all that, they're bitch made, fam. They're not real, fam. Like, I was in the bin, and everything that comes in and out of that, like, you know, you see who's real, you see who's fake, fam, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, a lot of these guys ain't really built like that, fam, you know what I mean? And the guys that are really built like that, we're not trying to be like that. We're trying to change and do better.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
What's the future then going to be for your 3-on-3? Are we going to see like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander pop up on a run? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are the future plans that you guys are trying to do? Because honestly, I feel like, and I want to honestly say, I think you guys are the only one that's even doing these 3-on-3s. I don't hear anybody. Is there more communities?
There's other communities. Mornell does one.
Okay.
Dufferin Eglinton does one. Keelan Eglinton does one. And like, I only know now because a lot of people tap in with me, you know?
Okay.
There's a lot of ball leagues out here.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So people want to know, like, oh, why am I running the league if I don't? Yo, I used to play ball, see? I used to play ball.
Yeah.
But I injured my wrist. My wrist is skinny, fam. Like, so, you know, tried to block someone. Boom. Wrist is broken. I've been on the sideline smoking ever since.
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, I could play ball, whatever, but it's the thing about the community is like, we use basketball as the common interest of everyone to actually service the community, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, I'm trying to do my youth program called the Commitment Program. And basically, it's a basketball camp for the youth during the summertime. They come through, we do stretches, exercising, suicides. We're doing the most, you know? Push-ups, dips, everything, you know? No equipment. We're just out there, you know? And then basically, now that we're playing ball and everything, I'm trying to implement life skills. So I want to implement like little workshops like financial literacy. I want to do like nutrition and health classes, you know, and I want to do knowing your rights when dealing with police. So the youths know to lawyer up and not say shit.
Yeah, big.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like this way you don't have to run. Because this is what happens. They pull up, we run. Why are they running?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So now more of them, you know, if you know your shit, they you know, they follow you like, yo, what? Can't say nothing, yo. Like, move from me. Like, you know? So you know your rights and you can like take that anxiety and that fear out now and say, yo, you guys can't arrest me. I'm not doing shit. What?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to do with my youth program. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I don't have no support right now. I'm just trying to do this like organically. And, you know, shout out to like the hood. Like, you know, the hood is like, you know, that's where I was born and raised. So a lot of times I want to just move out in my life, trying to, you know, leave the hood and just do whatever I want to do, focus on me. But it's like a part of me in my heart that's like, nah, yo, like, nobody else is doing it. That's why. So I'm like, I'm feeling compelled to like do something, you know? Because like, how am I going to just sit here and watch the hood deteriorate in front of my very eyes, you know?
I have an idea that you probably thought of, but I'll tell you off camera.
Yeah,
I think something that you should consider, but I'll tell you off camera.
But like, in all honesty though, my ball tournaments are doing better and better.
That's good.
Like, it's been more organized, been better and better. You know, I've been having some sick ballers come on there. Like, shout out to Tor. You know what I mean? And shout out all the ballers that come through. There's some sick ballers still. Like, you know, sometimes they be bringing guys from I don't know where. Like, people will be bringing some secret players. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But you know.
So can we see like you said
like
you mentioned
K Showtime and these type of guys?
Well, yes.
I'm trying to keep it on a level. It's like, you know, my hood is like is also not as like welcoming, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it is and it isn't. Like, well, it's a very beautiful hood, but I don't think like we're built like certain hoods where they're like, you know, where they're cool with all the random people just pulling up. You know what I'm saying?
But not to say they need to pull up to Village. Say you guys, like you did mention the other communities with 3-on-3. What about taking you guys as best players and do like a tournament? Maybe
that would be lit.
You guys put together some change and be like, okay, the winners are going to get this amount of this, and if they're into some other stuff and some sponsors, maybe some studio time or a podcast, maybe like something of the interest of the youth, you know what I'm saying? A one-on-one with a streamer.
Even like to do something in like an indoor gym or something.
Yeah, something that's not even in the neighborhood, like somewhere, I don't know,
Yeah.
like maybe even if you have the MLSC link, maybe in
Yeah.
Saga, where the
Yo.
Raptors 905 play, right?
And that's the thing. Like right now, I'm using all my links.
Yeah.
You know, I'm connecting with the city of Toronto directly. You know, and I'm just like, yo, I'm being the voice from the neighborhood, because you know ain't nobody else doing it. You know, and I got a couple of ladies in the neighborhood that, you know what I'm saying, they have my back. So you know what I mean. I have the hood with me, and that's one thing that I could say about myself that I really rate is that throughout the years, my hood still fucks with me.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like a thing where it's like so much people can't go back to their ends, or some people like they're just in so much mix up, and you know I could have been in the middle of beer mix up because there's so much internal parties in every hood, right? But for some reason, everybody still has that love for me. It's genuine, and it goes for me and my bro. So it's just like this organic, can't even explain it. You know what I mean? Where my hood is just like, you know, it's just a legendary place. Like, summertime, you just see like 50 people outside. Nobody called each other, yo, link up at this time. Nobody linked each other. It's just like, just how we live, fam. It's just you know?
It's just real community.
Yeah, real community.
Honestly, I am so proud that you guys still have that. I yearn for that. Those are things of my past. Like, my mom, them are holding up barbecues, and everybody's welcome. Nobody's not looked away.
Yeah.
I'm talking about everybody from the community, the OGs, the YGs, and everybody in between. They can come, they can eat, we listen to music, they play dominoes. Like, that's the community I was raised, and that's the community I wish my children were raised in, yo.
Yeah.
So honestly, shout out to Village, and shout out to you for just keeping up that, because that's so missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And basically, that's what I was saying. We're the last of the dying breed, because like I try to look for prospects right now, like which youth has the potential that like I could put them on, so I could just kind of not retire, but like be more in the background. But a lot of the youths are just on the pool shiesty, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo. And that's the one thing that I wanted to just say too, was just like, you know, if your source of information every day is just blogs, Toronto blogs, like you're just filling your mind with like a one mindset, seeing? So like if you expand your source of your knowledge, you know what I mean? And that's what I had to do. Like I had to be like, okay, am I gonna wake up and go at 6 buzz every day? And then, oh, my only source of information is 6 buzz and blogs, and you know? Or I could go, you know, study from the greats, you know? I'm all about self-development and like looking at all these entrepreneurs that made it and try to mirror my life kind of like that, you know? Like I wake up every day at 5 a.m., you know, I walk for an hour, you know what I'm saying? I write down all my thoughts and my goals, you know? So like I'm just like on a big man thing, fam, you know? And it took me a lot of years to get to this level, and you know what I mean? So even on the music thing, it's like I was saying, it's not like I have some crazy hit record right now that I came on the podcast to promote. It's just that I've been somebody out here that like, you know, it's like, yo, legendary shit. Like, you know, been doing good for my community, been making music, survived the streets, you know what I mean? And I have a real life, you know? My shit wasn't no sweet shit. Like, nothing was sweet, fam. You know what I mean? So it's like, even with the music, I encourage people to check out my catalog. Like, don't just be like, oh, like, you know, what do you have right now? You know? Yo, do some research, fam. Get to know me, fam. Check out my catalog, fam. I have hits. I have bangers. Manager, Mama's House, you know, Calculated Risks, Calculated Rewards. You know what I'm saying? We Rock, you know, Big Dog. You know what I'm saying? I got tracks, man. Just like taking my shit, you know what I'm saying? Go on my channel, Gville on Spotify. You know what I mean? Because like when it comes to this music shit right now, I'm tapping into the dance hall because I can. And my goal is to have some of these DJs, while they're running the rhythm, to just spin my shit in there. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
Real shit, on some real Toronto like love shit, you know? Because yeah, man, if they don't do it, I'm gonna force them to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make this happen. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be there at Soca or Die at Cabana, and the DJ's gonna run my shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make them. Whether we have to tie up the DJs, whatever we have to do, fam. We're gonna. This is happening. All you DJs, start tapping in, bro. Start showing some love, man. Like, you know? And like, yo, like just cause I'm Guyanese, a lot of people try to hate, you know? But listen, man, like Guyanese, it's just like any other country, fam. We're a rich culture. We have an identity, fam, you know? A little bit of identity crisis, cause it's mere mix up, you know? You have like people that are black, white, Asian, brown, Spanish, you know, they all rep Guyana. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter your skin color or like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, just tap in, show me some love, show Robbie Khan some love, Joe Easy, you know, the Guyanese artists, them are there. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And when
it.
people always try to diss me, they say, yo, what's wrong with this curry boy? I'm like,
Yeah,
yo, what's wrong with you, boy? You eat white rice? You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I love curry and I love white rice. And I feel like Guyana
Chelsea.
makes the best food. One of the best top tier Caribbean cuisines. Probably
Yeah,
like second.
fam. Come on,
Second
fam,
to
you
Trinity.
know?
But I would go on camera and say Guyanese has been in Trinidad instead of just mix up.
Yeah,
But-
Guyanese and Trini are very similar,
Very.
but very different at the same time.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you just have to respect it, you know?
I do.
And like even the Guyanese people, like they never respected me because I was moving like the man them, like I was in the streets in the hood, right? So when I showed up to their parties and their functions, they're like, yo, who's this boy? Yo, pull up your pants, boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Real shit. Oh, this boy a plotty here, this and that, you know? But they don't know me. They don't know my struggle. You know, you don't know my family. My family's from the hood, fam. Like, my entire family came from Driftwood, like in one townhouse. One townhouse, all like 5, 6 fam. My dad has 8 other siblings. You know, some of them are in the States, in the Bronx,
Yeah.
and Brooklyn and Florida. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they come to Canada in one house. And my dad was like, how bad Driftwood was. When I was about to be born, he's like, I don't want to raise my son in this hood. Like, yo, it's mash up. You know? So he moved to Village. You know what I'm saying? And Village has bare Guyanese people too, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bare Guyanese, Vietnamese. You know what I mean? And I 1-2 like Eritreans, you know? Shout out to the Eritreans, you know what I mean? So it's like, in my hood, it's like, I grew up, you know, around it, but like I was always different. So even my own people, they always showed me like a little hate, you know? But now that I'm older and they're accepting me because, you know, it's a different time now, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So now people's like, oh, that boy's Guyanese, he's one of us, you know? So I'm like, yeah, you know?
That's crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
Fucking 4 or 5's Guyanese, you know what I'm saying? Got some sick Guyanese artists out there,
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Some dope niggas.
Yeah.
Germz, thank you so much for your time.
For sure.
Like he said, go listen to this man's catalog. You will not be unimpressed. He is a very dope rapper.
Check it out, man.
You got any shout outs? And if so, and if not, let us know who you want to shout out and let everybody know how they can follow you, especially if they want to work with you and your community. And I know you guys not open to outsiders, but a little bit of extra money don't hurt, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, first of all, you know, shout out the home team, Dreamers League, you know, Joe Easy, shout out K Forest, shout out Robbie Khan, shout out AK, shout out AZ, you know, shout out Smoke Shop, shout out everybody out there doing their thing, you know, shout out my boy OG, you know, people that have been doing it from time, you know, shout out like everybody, man, you know, like, I actually like wrote a little list just in case, what you know what I'm saying?
Pull it up, man.
Let me see.
Pull
I
it
got
up.
Yo, yeah, shout out my boy Sir Travis Knight, you know, on the R&B scene, killing stuff over there, you know.
Sheesh.
Yeah, man, and shout out to everybody that influenced me growing up, man, you know, and I just wanted to say, like, you know, thanks for having me on the podcast, you know, getting to, you know, my time to talk, you know. I've been doing my thing from time, whether people like acknowledge it or not. I'm gonna always do my thing, you know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Don't worry, man. The man support you. Fucking
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
you have going on, let us know if we're able to come. We're gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Just showing you and your community support, man. It's your boy Vegas. This is the Man Them Show Unplugged. And we off this shit.
You already know. Bam, bam.